Little Nightmares, a game filled with horror, mystery, and some damn good visuals. A game that has captured the love of so many people, including myself. The game has finally released the first trailer for the third installment, and does it already look stunning as ever. However, within just a minute and 33 seconds of a trailer, there's a lot to unpack. So, just a little recap of what the trailer shows for us. Our two new characters called Lo and Alone. Lo, a little boy, is equipped with a cape and a mask similar to a crow, and Alone, a little girl wearing what almost looks like a gas mask of some sort, and a wrench on her back. Now, after looking through the trailer, I have a few theories of where the game could be taking us or what may happen. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, our characters seem to begin in what is known as the Necropolis, a barren, abandoned and destroyed city, only inhabited by crows and a giant doll-like creature known as the Monster Baby. Such an original name, I know. Now, about what seems to be the character we will be playing as, Lo, his appearance seems to be heavily inspired by a crow. Even the name sounds very similar, or even a plague doctor-like mask along with hair that looks like scraggly crow feathers. I feel this design is intentional from all the crows we see around the Necropolis. If this is where our characters lived for a while or resigned, this would make sense if Lo was inspired by the only other living thing around besides him and Alone. However, I believe that this detail could hold and predict a huge point in the story. Lo will not make it out of their journey alive. Now, a crow, one of the most popular birds known almost by everybody. They symbolize growth, intelligence, and loyalty to friends and family. Very similar how he and Alone are very good friends. However, they also represent misfortune and death. So, I believe that our journey may not have the happiest endings. We know that this is possible in this series, looking at our previous bag-growing fellow. Wait, that's me, damn it! No, the other one. Mono from the second game, who met a sad and tragic end from the previous game. However, Mono and Lo also have something in common. In the trailer, one of the main things shown is that our characters, or at least Lo, can travel through mirrors, very similar to how Mono traveled through the TVs in the second game. This plot of the mirrors is how I believe our characters will be able to travel from one place to another. As we can see in the trailer, we can see the setting of the game change dramatically to an abandoned desert city, to suddenly they're in a crowded carnival or circus, and then to even a dump or scrapyard. I believe at least Lo can travel through the mirrors with Alone to faraway places. However, there's one big detail about this that I don't think many people thought about. The Maw will return. So, the Maw is the setting of the first game, a giant half-floated ship that can submerge itself underwater, home to the first character Six and the main villain the Lady, the owner and heart of the Maw. Now, this may be a stretch, but I believe that using the mirrors, Lo and Alone will get teleported to the Maw using the mirrors, possibly on purpose or by accident. While looking through the pictures and comments, I saw two images on the Steam page, of all things, for the game, and I thought it was very interesting. One of them looks like Lo and Alone traveling a big metal staircase, pipes and metal plating bolted to the walls, seeming to be dripping with water as well as the pipes slightly leaking. Immediately, this reminded me of the lower depths of the Maw, looking very similar with leaky pipes, solid metal rooms, and looking more abandoned than the upper levels of the Maw. But the biggest of them all is this image here. Both children sitting by a dark room filled with books, letters, and a bright, glowing furnace, almost comforting to them. Now, this immediately brought me back to, you guessed it, the original game. In the DLC, a child is tasked to help the gnomes that run the Maw work a boiler room, and the reward for doing so is being able to look at a comforting, glowing furnace in a cluttered dark room, looking extremely similar to the one Lo and Alone are sitting by. Now, this is a very, very long stretch, but still possible that somehow our characters find themselves trapped in the Maw. but that's a very long shot, so don't quote me on that. One of the things I want to turn back to is the mirrors themselves. Now, in the trailer, one of the reoccurring images is a large mirror, a menacing fog looming behind it. Zooming in as this trailer goes on, we can actually see that it's smashed and broken. So obviously, mirrors are going to be quite the big part of the game. Even at the end of the trailer, a strange ripple effect appears at the title screen, almost like how you would think of when Lo and Lone are traveling through the mirrors. So possibly, the main villain will have something to do with the mirrors, or mirrors play an even larger role in the world of Little Nightmares themselves. Now, mirrors act very similarly to the TVs in the second installment of the series. Mirrors seem to have powers and abilities that these children can use. However, I feel as though the main villain may not be a physical character at all, but the mirror itself. Now, one of the things I haven't mentioned yet is the comics. There were a few discontinued comics of the original game, giving us some stories and information about the life outside of the mall and into the outer world. One of the stories is about a group of children who go into an old abandoned house and find huge towering mirrors. When the children look into the giant mirrors, they see themselves, or rather a version of themselves they've always wanted to be. Now, one of the children looking into the mirror, they become tall and strong. Another having a twin of themselves, wishing that they were two of themselves. However, when one of the children look into the mirror, they don't see themselves, but a tall, dressed-up man, seeming fine except that the fact that vines and roots seem to be covering its head, or even take the place of its head. Spreading out through the mirrors, suddenly the vines burst and appear in the real world, grabbing a few of the children and dragging them into the mirror dimension. Now, this comic was later discontinued and doesn't seem to be fully canon. However, this could be the most crucial piece of evidence for the third game, showing us that this weird vine creature that lives in the mirrors will be the main villain of the game. This monster, this being, lives inside the mirrors, or an alternate dimension that the mirrors contain, and I believe this is the monster that our protagonist will be facing. However, there was a way that the children in the comic defeated this monster. By surrounding itself with the mirrors itself, they were able to trap it and contain it back into the realm. Now, will our protagonist be able to do the same thing? I don't think so. I feel there may be another way that they defeat the monster, or they don't and they meet a horrible tragic end. However, just like the relationship with Mono and Thin Man, both were able to use their powers within the TV, and eventually Mono defeating the Thin Man using his own powers. So it's possible that we could have a very similar battle with this monster in the mirrors and our protagonists. If they can use the powers of the mirrors just like the monster, possibly they could use the powers of the mirror against the creature and defeat it. However, that's just a wild theory. Okay, no, anymore. The more trailers and gameplay that come out, the more will be detailed and precise we can be on what could happen during the game. So, I hope this gave you lots of things to think about. If you're into Little Nightmares as much as I am, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Any theories or ideas you have, please leave them in the comments below. I love reading them and I love hearing other people's thoughts. So, I shall see you all in the next video. Don't forget to cover your mirrors at night and sweet dreams.